This is a review of the Posh Titan HD sold by Sharkk. Inside of the box, you'll find the screen protector. You'll find the phone itself. The phone weighs in at roughly 3.1 ounces, and with the case that comes with it installed, it weighs in at 3.77 ounces. This is a soft polysilicone case, highly flexible, easy to install, but it does provide it protection. And between the combination of the case and the screen protector, it's not bad. You'll find a set of headphones. They're a flat cable. The headphones are roughly 50 inches long, and they have a control on it right there that gives you a microphone to speak to when you're making phone calls, and also a mute switch. Here you have a charging cable. The charging cable is 40 inches long. It has a USB connector on one end and a micro USB connector on the other. You'll also find the battery uninstalled. The battery is 2,200 milliampere hours at 3.7 volts. That's a pretty good sized battery. And then here you have the AC wall charging adapter. The AC wall charging adapter is rated at 100 to 240 volts AC and 50 to 60 hertz. You can see the rating of the adapter. It also outputs 5 volts DC at 1 amp, which means you can charge this with the USB port of your computer, the phone. It will charge a bit slower than using the adapter, but you can also use any AC wall adapter or even a car charger. There are two things that you'll need that don't come with the phone. One of them is a micro SD card. This happens to be a 32 gig Class 10 card. It's a SanDisk card. I'd recommend a fast card because this is a very fast phone and you want to make sure that it responds as quickly as possible. These are relatively inexpensive and you can acquire these on Amazon. Over here you have a micro SIM. There are three sizes that are normally used today: a mini SIM, a micro SIM, and a nano SIM. Make sure you get the micro SIM. That's this size here. You can see it punched out of a card. This allows you to make phone calls and receive texts, and you don't have to have a data plan to use this. This happens to be an on-the-go card, which means I just paid $10 for roughly 100 minutes of talk time or to use with text. You can see the back of the phone, and it's quite attractive. You can see this one happens to be white. It's also available in pink, blue, black, and yellow. Here I wanted to put a little comparison together. This is an iPhone 5S, and this is the new Posh phone. You can see it's much bigger and the screen is much larger. If I lay them on top of each other, you can see the difference. And so you're going to get a much bigger display here on this Posh phone than you will for the iPhone 5S. The thickness of these two phones is about 8 millimeters or 0.32 inches. You can see I removed the back of the phone. It was quite difficult to get off the first time. Unfortunately, when I got the phone, it didn't come with an instruction manual, but you can download it from the web. Here with the back off, you can see the locations for the battery. You can see the terminals for the battery, and they're here. You want to make sure you insert the battery properly so the terminals properly engage. But before you do, you should insert the SIM card and the memory card. There are two spots for the SIM cards, SIM 1 and SIM 2. You can put two in here, and that's advantageous, particularly if you travel overseas. You can have one SIM card in here for AT&T, for example, for the US, and put another card in over here for Germany or Spain, and be able to use the local systems over there and pay the local rates instead of uber long distance prices because you're using an American SIM. Here you can see I'm about to insert the micro SD card. It's going to go right here. There's a little emblem here that shows the direction of how to insert this card. It's a little hard to see with the camera, but it gives you a good idea of how to position a card before you insert it. And here you can see I've inserted the SIM card. SIM 2 is not installed. I have the micro SD card inserted, and I put the battery in place, which I've previously charged. It's ready to go. I wanted you to know that when you insert this 32 gig micro SD card, you just added 32 gig of memory space to put your books, your applications, your games on, and save your limited device memory space. This is a good feature. Make sure you use it. Now that I've done all this, I can take this back up, stick the bottom of it into the phone, Make sure the tabs go in there, right there at the bottom. Press it down and it snaps into place. And now the back's been reinstalled and you're ready to start using the phone. I've now inserted it into the case. You can see all the cutouts and controls are easily accessible. There's the volume. On the bottom here you see your charging port. On the side here you'll see the off-on switch. And on the top you'll see the jack that you can use to insert your headphone plug. On the back here I want you to see a nice cutout for the speaker. In addition to that you'll see the 13 megapixel rear-facing camera and the rear-facing flash. As I turn the phone over, you can see I got a message. The phone's already recognized the new SIM card, attached itself to AT&T, and it's ready to make calls. You can also see here the front-facing 5 megapixel camera and the speaker for the phone itself. I want to do a quick explanation of why I used an AT&T on-the-go card. I did this to avoid a more expensive data plan. Each minute of conversation on this card costs 10 cents, and a text message costs 20 cents for incoming or outgoing text. Photo text costs 25 cents. If you purchase an on-the-go card for $10, you get 100 minutes, but they expire in 30 days. A $25 card's 250 minutes will expire in 90 days, and a $100 card's 1,000 minutes will expire in 1 year. If you buy an extension to the minutes before your time runs out, for like a monthly plan for example, you get to save the minutes you haven't used. I don't intend to use a data plan which would cost $40 per month or more at a minimum cost. And that's because this phone has a great Wi-Fi system that I can use to download everything I want from the internet. Here you can see I used a powerful benchmarking app which gave this phone a rating of 25,516, which is very good. Basically it says the CPU is good, the RAM is excellent, the 2D and 3D graphics are excellent, and it fluidly will support large medium mobile games, and that the operating system is Android 4.4.2 or KitKat. It also verifies that the display is 1280 by 720 pixels and it will display in 16 million colors. I'd like to point out that it's a 32-bit device, 8 cores, and the CPU frequency can vary between 728 megahertz and 1365 megahertz. Here you can see I just ran an Ookla speed test on my Wi-Fi, and it showed that I was getting a download of 18.03 megabits per second and an upload of 2.54 megabits per second. That's pretty good considering I'm paying for 18 and 2. So this phone's doing a good job connecting to the internet and doing a speed test. I already knew that because if you look at this, I've installed a ton of apps with this. You can see I've downloaded the Amazon Kindle reading app, and I have about 1,000 books, and you can see how quickly I can scroll through them to select another book. This has a very fast CPU, and the device is just amazing in the speed it has. This is one of the advantages of having an internal SD card, as I can transfer all these games to the SD card, and they're very quick to load up if you get a good card, and it saves your device. If I go to the device settings and then go to storage, you can see here that it's identified that I have a SD card, and I've told it that the SD card is the default write disk area. So as I downloaded apps and things like that, it took this 32 gigabyte card and downloaded my apps and my books that I put on there, and it will consume that space before it goes and uses up the phone space. That's exactly what you want to do. I do want to point out that this phone also has a nice Bluetooth capability. You can turn it on by hitting the settings button. Bluetooth is called WHT here. You see I have this switch turned on, it's blue. If I hit this, it says here that the Posh phone is visible to other devices, and now I can begin to connect up by speakers and other items. Here you can see the quality of a photograph using the rear-facing camera. Here you can see the quality of a video shot with the rear-facing camera. This is taken almost at dusk. I'd like to point out that my written review contains a lot of technical details that I couldn't get in the video, so I encourage you to go look at it. This is an excellent phone. I recommend it as a 5-star item. This review was done by JJCEO. I was supplied a sample for test and evaluation, and a review was not promised, but I promised if I gave one, it would be fair and honest.